What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Welcome to also my new subscribers. Want to give them a big shout out. If you like Maximilian Must Know, you're going to be real happy because this is probably going to be my longest video because I want to address some questions quickly about the fragrance community, the website Badger and Blade, and the music that I use on my show, and then we're going to get into a review. If you came here subscribed thinking you were going to see a different fragrance every week, you might be disappointed. I don't think you will be, because the goal of this channel is to do a fragrance review one week and then review something else a man can use in the bathroom in another week, right? So like stuff we have coming up are episodes on oral care, exclusive toothpaste from Europe, in Italy, mouthwash, soaps from Italy, body washes from England, shampoos from England, hairstyling products, moisturizers, room sprays, candles, all that good stuff that guys who care about fragrances also care about should be coming up on future episodes. So there's going to be a fragrance review every other week and a grooming product show the other. Now, why am I doing this? If I was just going to do the fragrance reviews, I think people have that covered. I mean, I think I can add a little to that conversation because I live in New York. I'm always at Barney's. I'm always at Bergdorf's. I'm always at, Mid New York, the boutiques downtown. Like, those are places I'm just always at. Have a pretty decent collection. Always get a fragrance at least a week. So I think I can add something to those discussions. But, the people who I watch, and I just want to give shout outs for inspiring me real quickly. Really 5 guys that really got me into doing this part of the fragrance stuff. I was always wearing fragrances forever. But, Al from Street Sense and Funkinator, I'm lumping them together because they're both New York dudes. I know Al's a New York dude for sure. I think Funkinator is too. And for me, New York always supports New York without a question. That's just the way it is. I don't care when someone else from my city blows up. I love it. To me, it's like someone else on my team scoring a touchdown. New York always reps New York. I show New York people love. I always have my entire life. Besides from that, Al does something completely different that's amazing. Funkinator does too. I think they're both great reviewers from what I've seen. Great guys. So those two bang right off the bat. Hero Miguel, always watch that guy videos. That guy reminds me of who I was in my 20s. Hyping things up, talking loud, real passionate, but a genuinely good guy. Always trying to look fly, always trying to smell fly. That, to me, man, I was Miguel when I was in my 20s, like straight up. That's really what it is. And so I look at him, and I like a guy like that. I'm kind of sad he hasn't been doing reviews recently. He said he might step away from this, but I happen to be a big fan of his. Always was, always will be. Now, if I was Miguel in my 20s, right, Mickers, my Mickers Dan, is the guy I aspire to be, straight up. I'm not going to lie, when I first watched his videos, I was sort of like, he has that laugh, and I was sort of like, what's this guy about? But then I look at his fragrance knowledge, I'm like, damn, this guy's got bottles from all kinds of niche perfume. He knows what he's talking about. Then he puts his family into it. That's the sort of guy you want, me at least, I want to become hopefully one day, so love Dan's videos. And then I'm not going to call him the OG, I'm going to call him the OF, the original Fragranista, Robes 08 Mark. Here's the thing with him. This guy will pull out 40 bottles in a whole video. I know he's not doing those anymore. He's doing first impressions. He'll do it, right? And most people might look at that and be like, damn, he's stunting. He's trying to show off. That's a guy that never makes you feel inferior about your opinion. Never has a hint of cockiness or superiority. He seems like one of the most down-to-earth people in the whole YouTube game, basically. He's an embodiment of, to me, of what any reviewer should want to be. Not just fragrance reviewer. People want to say, oh, all these guys sweat Mark, whatever. I really don't sweat anyone. Actually, I do sweat him because he's a good guy. Seems like his fragrance game is ridiculous and everyone should want to be like him. Straight up and down. Forget about the fragrances. The respect he shows other people, that sort of stuff means a lot to me. I know there's been beef in the fragrance community recently. I'm so not into all that, so I can't even talk on that. I love the guys I'm talking about. Other people too, newer people, but those guys are what really got me into this. So, but what I'm trying to say is, none of these guys, as far as I know, were doing things other than fragrances, or are doing things other than fragrances. And I thought that's where I maybe could carve out my little niche, in the game, basically. Badger and Blade link in my videos. Guys, just so you know, Badger and Blade doesn't endorse anything I do or the products that I use. I just flip up the website because that's where I learned everything I know about shaving. And I want to put other people onto that place. They genuinely tens of thousands of wet shavers owe everything they know to Badger and Blade. Aside from that, they're pretty much the nicest people I've ever encountered in my life. Anywhere, not just on a board. the moderators, from the stewards all the way down to the members. So you all should go there. You all should join it. You all should contribute as much as possible. Badger and Blade is where my heart is. Big shout out to Bass Notes because I love those forms. Someone recently a member there. But to me, it's all about Badger and Blade. My intro music, just real quick. Long story short, the guy who did my intro music is close to hopefully signing a deal with a talent agency. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to produce the paperwork Google needs for me to be able to monetize my videos with the music he had. I am friendly with the guy. I worked with him for a couple of years. My job, my actual real day job. And he's a real talented musician. I'm going to put a link to his page below. His name is Evan Lee. He's real great Crosby, Stills, and Nash type folk rock sound. Plays his guitar, sings. Real talented guy. If I can't get his music, I'm no slouch on the drum machine and the sampler, so I'll do my own stuff, make my own little intro music soon enough. Okay, so there's the questions. I got asked a couple questions on email, so I figured I'd address them quickly and then get into a review. Now, I've mentioned that I started shaving younger than most of my friends because embarrassingly, or I thought it was embarrassing, I had thick, coarse Italian facial hair. I still do. And it grew often, and I started out on cartridge razors because that's what my dad used. My mother would pick me up Mach 3 blades, and I had no idea how much she was forced to spend on them until I went off to school and had to buy them myself. So up until about 2-3 years ago, I continued the cartridge razor, went from a Mach 3 to a Gillette Power Fusion. You guys know what that is. That's this guy. Press the power button, you get a rumbling that I'm sure some junk science is behind that says you get a better shave. Nonsense, disgraziata razor, no better shave there. Trust me on that. I was paying $4 a blade basically. I would get all kinds of irritation on my skin and spend all kinds of money on 10 skin that rarely worked. Eventually I just got sick of it, did some research online, and was driven to the website Badger and Blade and YouTube videos from a dude named Mantic. Again, another great guy who's no stranger to Badger and Blade. And I lurked on the forums, soaked up as much knowledge as I could, bought myself a boar brush from CVS. If you haven't seen my show on shaving brushes, definitely check it out. This is not a boar's brush. This is a custom-made shave Mac job that is the best darn brush I ever used in my entire life, straight up and down. I also bought myself a puck of Vanderhagen shaving soap, and we have done a shaving soap show in the past. We're going to do another one pretty soon, so stay tuned for those. And this razor, this guy right here, the Merkur 23C. Show you what this looks like. Double-edged safety razor, stainless steel. Now, safety razors use double-edged blades, and there are literally dozens, I'm not exaggerating this, dozens of different types of blades on the market. You could see back there, I got a bunch of them. We're going to do a whole show later on razor blades, so let's not really stress that too much right now. But if you buy 100, you should be able to get them for less than 10 cents. 10 to 15 cents a piece. You buy 5, you're probably going to pay a couple bucks. And for those prices, it makes it okay for you to different one each shave. But you could probably get 2 or 3 shaves for blade if you like. There are plenty of websites like West Coast Shaving that offer blade sampler packs for really good prices, so you can find the best blade that suits you. Some are sharper than others, some are more aggressive, some are more durable, some are more flexible, yada, yada, yada. And as I said, we'll do a show on that, so let's not dwell on it. I just will say quickly, my favorite blades thus far are these Dorcos from Korea. By the way, I'm pretty sure these are 100 on Amazon for $3. So 3 cents a blade, right? Gillette, though, in other countries, they clown us here, but in other countries, they sell these double-edged blades. Okay, just not in the U.S. And you can get them at shave shops and websites. And just to quickly show you what these look like, they're in wax paper, so you can't really cut yourself unless something's very wrong with you. But that's what they look like, basically. And that's what Gillette sells around the rest of the world. It's just here where we're the clownish clowns who pay all that money and get locked into the CVS Dwayne Reed cycle, and they can get all this money from us, so they jerk us. You know, it's in their best interest for their razors not to be too sharp or last long, because you'd stop buying them. But, you know, it is what it is. And then my other type of favorite blade, and these are pretty much universally regarded on shaving websites as the sharpest of the sharp. These are feathers from Japan, and I just love these. I mean, these to me, these and Dorcos are pretty much my favorite. Now, let me quickly just show you how the Merkur 23 works, 23C. When you want to replace a blade, what you do is you unscrew the bottom unit, okay? I'm going to try to do this without cutting myself. pull the two pieces apart. You see the blades there, right? And you could just drop it in your hand. What's great is a lot of these blade boxes have a disposal unit in the back. See this? So that you could just slide it in there and throw it away. A lot of guys, though, will use piggy banks or empty deodorant bottles or stuff like that to safely store blades, because these guys are sharp and they will cut you up. No problems. Ash, you won't know what hit you. You'll just be bleeding. It might need stitches. But when you want to replace the blade, right, you just kind of put it back in there. I'm sure people are going to be like, you're doing this very unsafely. And I realize that, but I'm trying to do it with a camera. And then you just put the plate back on. And then you just screw it carefully. You screw it back into the razor, okay? Now, to find the angle, to me, I think that's the toughest part, was originally finding the angle you need to use, because it's not the same as a razor. So what you can sort of do is just lay it flat and then just go down until you're cutting hair. You know what I'm saying? Get that right angle. And then it's a double-edged razor, because when this side gets all clotted with cream, right, you flip it over and use the other side. How novel and great an idea is that? This razor is about $30 on Amazon, and for me, it's a great razor. It's a great starter razor. I do sort of wish that it just had butterfly doors on it, like this guy. This is a Mehaz. I got this from Pasteur Pharmacy, which, if you're in New York and you're a shaver and you haven't been there, honestly, like, shame on you. That's sort of like liking burgers in New York and having never been to J.G. Mellon, like, just straight up, or cupcakes and not been to Magnolia or something like that. This was $30. This is also made in Germany. This has butterfly doors. The only reason I bought it because I wanted a razor with butterfly doors. See this piece in the bottom? You just unscrew it, voila, and the doors open up. And you could just take your razor, plop it down in your hands, and then when you want to put it back in, you just close the doors. Makes chance of cutting yourself a lot harder. I don't like this though, because I don't know if you could see, but the blade is pretty far away from the safety bar, so it's hard to get an aggressive shave with this. For $30, you might want to check it out, but I'd recommend the Merkur 23C instead, personally. The razor we're reviewing today, though, is called the Merkur Futur. This is pretty much the second most expensive razor in the Merkur line. It's an adjustable razor, okay, which means that you can probably see there's a notch. Let me get this focused. Try to get it focused. Okay, you see that notch right here, and there's numbers, right? Really hard to get this focused. But basically, I'm going to do this without the blade in it, because I don't want to cut my hands, and I've done it before. But basically, when you want to change the setting, you just twist it like that. I recommend doing it when the blade's not in there. And if you have it at a 1, basically, right, the blade is going to be real close to the safety bar. But when you have it on a 6, said blade is going to be very far, okay, from the safety bar. And it's going to be a lot more aggressive. And that way, if you have stubble on your face that just is really tough or refuses to go anywhere, you can dial up the setting. And at that point, it's almost like you're shaving with sort of like shaving with a straight razor, because well, no, it's really not. But it's as close as you're going to get with a safety razor, because the razor is so far away from the safety bar. I started screwing around with a safety razor, a straight razor recently. We're going to get into those. Those can be really expensive, especially if they're restored antiques or honed or, you know, gotten shave ready. Those can go into the upper hundreds of dollars, you know, $500 easily for some of them. Usually they're between $100 and $300. But this is pretty much one of the top of the line razors in the double-edged safety razor line. Now, to replace the blade, this is a big pain in the butt. And they get points off, big time points off for this. You have to snap the top off, okay? Then you have to take your blade, lay it in here, and snap the top back on. And for me, that just leaves too much room for error, straight up and down. And for $80, I think this razor personally should have had the butterfly doors. You know, I like it a lot. I really, really do. I think it's a great razor. You have a lot of control. It's nice and hefty. It's really heavy. You don't need to use any weight on this guy. The weight of the razor will give you all the pressure you need to mow your hair down. But for $150, they have a razor called the Vision, and that has the butterfly doors. And I feel like they're really, sort of screwing people over here by trying to get them to pay a little bit more for those butterfly doors. I think for $80 they should be included on this guy. There's also a nicer version of this. It comes in a beautiful aluminum case, but that's more money as well. So to me, this is an 8 out of 10 razor, which is really, really good, obviously. But a point deducted because it comes in a little cheap box that the $30 razor basically came in. I think it should come in a little bit nicer of a container. And a point off because there's no butterfly doors on this guy. And it makes the likeliness of cutting yourself a lot easier. So I would check this out, but I wouldn't start with this. I would start off with the Merkur 23C or a Mihaz razor or a Razor Rock razor, something for like 30 bucks, so you can go sort of get the gist of shaving with a safety razor down before you get something that can be so aggressive that you can cut yourself so easily with. But for that, it's an 8 out of 10. I still really think that this is worth checking out, and I think most serious razor collectors who like safety razors have this in their collection. That's just the reality of the situation. But blade replacement can be a little bit dicey when all said and done. Now, with that said though, wow, what a different beast from the crap that's available at CVS or Walgreens. This is quality. This is a razor that properly maintained your grandchild will be able to use. By the way, in case you're wondering what I store these in, I use just a toothbrush holder from I got Bed Bath & Beyond for like $5. Works really well. They don't, sometimes they clang into each other, but still good enough for me. But how can you use Edge in a Mach 3 when you see this beautiful lush cream from Taylor Lavender Cream? This whole jar is like $15, and then a beautiful brush like this. I really don't see how you can separate this from, if you love fragrances and stuff like that, how can you shave with that other stuff? For me, it's all one and the same. You want the fragrance that you wear to be great, right? But for me, it goes to everything, right? It's down to the deodorant you wear when you get out of the shower, the aftershave you put on after you shave, the moisturizer you use to keep your skin looking young and fresh, the mouthwash you use, right? You want that Listerine, Schmisterine nonsense. The body wash you use in the shower, or the soap that you use. What you wash your face with before you shave, okay? What you wash your hair with in the shower. What you condition your hair with in the shower. What you style your hair with after you're done washing and conditioning it. What you spray in your room to have a nice little essence in your room where you sleep, or your living room. The candles you use in your house. Guys, to me, these are all one and the same as the cologne. That is why I'm doing these shows. I want to get most fragrance heads into more than that. And for people that are into wet shaving, not so much enough fragrances, I want to expose them to that side of it. So to me, it's really all in the same. That's why all these companies make so much different stuff. That's why Creed makes shower gels and shaving soaps and deodorants and stuff like that, and candles. We're going to talk about all that stuff in the show, and I really hope all of you stick around for that. Hit subscribe, hit like, and take this journey with Maximilian, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to look at a lot of different things, and I just think I'm going to have a great time doing this, and I'm really just getting started. I want to really show all of you, what your time in the bathroom can be, that me time for a man, when no one can get to you because you're in the bathroom, the door is locked. Leave me alone, everyone. I have a straight razor. Don't say anything that's going to make me jump, or I'll cut my whole face off. Not a great endorsement for wet shaving, but still, I want to show you how great that me time can be. That's what I'm here for. All right, guys? Stay tuned for next week's show. We've got a really dope niche fragrance in store for everyone. A springtime winner, one of my favorites and a generational classic. And no, it is not green Irish tweed, although that review is definitely coming up because I just bought a bottle of that, so stay tuned. But next week, we're doing a personal favorite springtime fragrance. Stay tuned. I am Maximilian, and I must know one.